Hello future tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
We discussed about the if-else, and if we have multiple renditions, then we can achieve this using if-else right. We will proceed and then today we will understand about the loop and then the rest of the things. Let's discuss. You must have seen, and you must have experienced this, or you must have come across this vertical loop in many places. Let's say in YouTube videos, we have this, a functional article loop. What does it mean? That it will, keep playing the same song again and again, or keep playing the same video again and again. Loop means that if you want to do the same thing again and again, then you are going to use the loop. Let's say I want to print my name 10 times. I have two options. Either I can, write this output statement for 10 times, and then what will happen? I would print my name 10 times because I am printing or I am writing this output line 10 times, right? Another way is that I can give the loop and then I will tell Marketing Cloud or more, I will tell the system that As per this loop configuration, you have to run this 10 times. I don't need to write this statement again and again. I will just write it once and I will just, write this configuration in the loop that it has to run 10 times. Or you must have seen, let's say we want to share the different orders that were placed by this customer. Let's say this order, this customer placed the order and which contains 10 different items, right? We are storing all these items in our data extension and we are, fetching all these orders like all these items that are there in this order. Order number 123 and this is the list of all the items. Let's say one a headphone, speakers, t-shirts, tunes, whatever it is, right? And then we have, what is the expected delivery and everything. In that case, we are not going to do the same thing again and again and again and again. We are doing this slightly. we will use the for loop and we will get this done. After understanding why we need the for loop, that we can save our time, efforts and energy. How do we? First of all, we have to use this keyword called phone. Now, whenever marketing here says for it means I need to do something, again or again. But I need to tell how many times, right? For how many times I need to give this some numbers. For 3-minute time here I have to do this. With marketing, the for loop works is, or maybe in another primary language is, through the condition that until this condition is true, like until this condition, people's lives keep running the loop. For example, I'll say that I have a variable, I can give any name. This let's give I, this is a variable is equals to, let's say 125. What will happen in the back end? Let me just show you and explain you with the help of this block diagrams that we have this variable called I. Whenever Marketing Cloud will look at this at I, right now it is blank. Right now it will write this thing. This is blank and then we are writing is equals to 1. What is going to happen? That system is going to assign one this variable called I. Now we are going to write this field called 2 and then we have to provide another number. Let's say 5. And then do keyword. Whatever time you are writing, that will happen. Let's say I want to print the value of I itself. Whatever the content of this variable, I want to print it. And next thing now, what is happening? First of all, I will become like 1 in the backend, right? And then Marketing Cloud will compare the value of the I with the another number that we have mentioned. It will be something like this, whether this is equals to or less than 5 or not. 1 should be equals to 5 or less than 5. It is less than 5, condition becomes 2. And when it becomes 2, whatever we have written inside, that will be executed. Line number 28 is executed. And then next to the contour will come to line number 30 again. Next means that again go to line number 27 and do this condition evaluation again. Now one more thing. Whenever we do the next, the value of I will be incremented by 1 and it will become 2. Now, like in the backend, like here, that the code will be like this only, but in the backend it will become 2. Now again, the condition will be evaluated that whether 2 is less than or equals to 5, the condition true. Now same thing will keep happening for 3, for 4 and for 5. Now 5 is less than or equals to 5, condition true because it is equals to 5. Now when the value of the I becomes 6, now what will happen? That it is neither less or equals to 5. Condition becomes false. Now, whenever the condition will be, the loop will be terminated and like after 2, it will not work at line number 28. Or whenever the condition becomes false, it will come out of the loop. The contour will come out of the loop like, let's say, line number 30 or whatever the line that we have written after next to the word. Now you will have to tell me that. What should be the output then? Can anybody tell me what is the output? Yes, I'll look in. We are printing the value of I write. First of all, it will print 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5 and on 6 the condition will become false. That will be number 6, right? One, 3, 4, 5. Now let me make some changes in the code and then we will have to tell you the type of the output. Let me make it 3, 2, 6. What should be the output now? If you are not able to understand this, let me know. I will just be able to explain this again. But at least tell me if you are able to get it or not. If you are not able to speak, just type in the chat window that if you need to do the scroll again or you are getting the concept or not. Like if you will not tell me, I will not be able to help you guys. Actually, see, we were not able to practice what you were told for the last 2 sessions because we were a little busy with our office work. The thing is, like it is pretty difficult for me to understand this particular concept. That's why we're not able to answer this. It's better if you could just give us some time where we can practice and come back to you with something on this. No problem. I mean, whether like your practices or not, but like this is a move concept for loop, right? Just try to relate this with the things that you already know. I think it will become easier for you that you want to print something on the screen. That how we can do it right. We are just using a loop. Basically it is nothing but a count, date and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then we are printing that. I mean, you can practice for sure, but my advice would be that don't just do it yourself. Just because you do not have the previous knowledge, you don't have practice. But whatever we are learning right now, just try to understand that. Sure. Now let's proceed. Next we have is comments. Comments are basically the non-executive nodes. What happens is that generally we provide the comments in the code that these are not executed by the system. And later on, if you really come back to the code, you will be able to understand what this piece of the code is trying to do. Let's say we have very large code and what we are doing is that first of all, we have to touch the data from the data extension. And after that, we have to see if we are manipulating the data when we are distilling the data. If we have enough comments, we will be able to understand what this code is doing, and it will help other developers also to understand what this code is all about. Let's say here, I want to write it this way and how we can provide that comments. We have to move this forward slash and then a stick and then forward slash. This is how we can, whatever we want to do to decide these characters, that will be here is a comment, and then this will not be executed by the compiler. This was the basics of the MMP perspective that we understood far. We talked about the condition statements. If it has no mystery about the for loop and you know variables, keywords, questions, you know how we can run them, these kinds of things. Now we'll move on to functions in AMP perspective and we'll understand different functions that we have. Basically, any function in Markdown Cloud may be any function. What it does is that or how it works is that it will take some input and then it will process that input and then it will do some output. If we talk about any functionality that we have in, let's say, a television right, in television remote, we have all these buttons, all these functions. When you press some button, something will happen, change channel, then you have to press that button. That is, you are giving input to the remote and then it will process that input through digital signals and all, and then, or maybe you would say electrical signals, and what will happen is it will basically give you some output. We are going to discuss the different functions here in Markdown Cloud and the base functionality that we are going to perform. Let's see. We have different type of functions. You know, like the different kind of functions, like data extension functions, in which we are going to deal with the data extension. We are going to update the data. We are going to retrieve the data. We are going to delete the data in the data extension. And there are a few other that I write data manipulation, distinct functions and all. We'll discuss all of these, but let's say we started with the data extension functions first. This is completely new. And even if you do not have any programming knowledge, nothing like that, then also you will be able to pick it up. Now I will do the estimate list. Answer that. I know that you are understanding the concept. Otherwise, I don't have any problem. I just, can go through this entire thing and we can complete the estimate. The thing is that if you will not understand it, it doesn't, make any sense. I don't feel good if you are not able to understand. Shashar, no problem. The first function is the lookup function that we will talk about. Lookup means, like if you are searching somewhere, if you are looking up to something, or if you are, we look out on something. Let's say, forgot about the marketing cloud. As a person, if I tell anybody else that you have to pick a value from the data extension, that person will ask me, which data extension you are talking about? From which data extension do you want to pick up the value? I tell this is the data extension name and the script node. We'll have to go there and pick up one value. Now the second question, That person will ask me that I cannot pick any random value. You have to clearly tell me that which value you want to do next time. We have to tell that we are first known. Very email is equal to this. You have to extract the first one. Let me show you the data extensions first. Generally, what happens is that we have the customer, I do have the customer, and we don't know the trajectory. Let's say first one. I want to know the first one. This is the data extension AMP script demo D that we are using in terms of extracting the data and the AMP script functions. It has got 4 fields: first time, last time, email, and first time already. What we are seeing in this function that go to this data extension, the system will go to this data extension AMP script demo D. And then we are saying that that pick up the first name value from the state extension. We have got a list of first names. There are many first names. Which first name that you want to pick up? We say that email address is equal to this. It will go over here. It will not find anything. Let me change it to just not to do this. It will go over here and it will find this email address is bust up desk, and then it will give me the first name of the best email address. It will return me. Now let's remove the comments. What we are doing exactly? We are using this lookup function, and we understood that each function will take some parameters or some inputs. Now these inputs are in the form of strings. This is one of the strings. We are passing double quotes and then comma. And this is another string comma. This is the third string comma, and this is the fourth string. It takes basically all these strings, or basically all these values are for the parameters that we are passing. We are passing 4 parameters to this function that it can perform the functionality or what we basically want, and then it will return something. What it will return? It will return Ronnie. Now whatever it will return, I am going to assign this value to a variable called firstly. Now using this R2P function, I am going to print the value of this value. Let's do the preview on test and see. It is showing Ronin right. Let me remove all these things first of all. Now I think we should be fine. What is going to be done? It is going to be done, Ronin, as we expected. This is the first name of the test remote where the email address is equal to Ronin. That will be the accurate example that actually is built in Ronin. Now, the next function is let's say we are not just contesting the first name, but we also want to retrieve, different value like first name, last name. We want to extract the entire row, but not just the one below. What we want to do is that we have to use this function called lookup process. In Empress script, all these functions have a descriptive name. Even like if you just remember the function name, we will be able to then understand the functionality that what it is trying to do. Lookup means when you just look up one value, and lookup process means we are going to retrieve the entire row. Now what we need to do that we have to pass the parameters over here. First of all, we have to tell that from the state extension, we need to retrieve the data, and then we have to tell the condition like the last name is just to command. What it will do that it will return me this particular row, and it will return me this particular row, right? Wherever the condition is from, it will go and scan each and every row, and wherever the condition is met, it will retrieve all those words. As per the logic, it will retrieve only 2 rows. Now, what we are trying to do is that whenever it will retrieve, this set of rows that is called a row set, it is going to retrieve me just one single value, but all these 2 rows. Now, this is the collection of rows which is called a row set, and it is going to return the row set that I am going to store this my variable called rows. Let's say variable called rows, and in this we have stored the row set. Now, the next function that we are going to use is this row. Now, why this function we are using? Because first of all, we want to, let's say these are 2 different rows, and I am interested in retrieving the first row from this row. What I need to do? First of all, from this collection of rows, I need to pick one row, and then from this one row, I need to pick up this polynomial, or basically first row, right? I will have to, take this path, or I will have to extend the value by this mechanism. Row function will give me a particular row from the given row set, and we have to mention the number over here. Basically, first parameter. It takes a variable in which we have stored the row set, and then from that row set, which row number that you want to extend. I want to extend the row number 1. It will give me the entire row. It will give me like this one, Atul Kumar, and this one. Now the next function we have is the field function. Field function is going to tell me a particular field from the given row. First parameter that it takes is the row itself, that is this entire row. Now from this row, which field that I want to extract? I want to extract the customer ID. It will give me the customer ID as 1003. Now, whatever it will return, I am going to store this in a variable called field value, and I am going to print it. Let's see the output. It is printing 3 as we expected. Now let me make some changes in the code, and then you have to tell me that what should be the output. Make it. Now what should be the output? Then take a look at the data extension. Understand like how it is happening in the backend is. It will retrieve these two rows, right? This one 1003 and where last time it was to Kumar. This one, right? It is going to retrieve these two rows and store this in a variable. Now in this variable we only have these two rows 1003 and 1007 because where last time it was to Kumar. Now from that variable, this rows variable contains these two rows. Now from that row set I am going to extract the row number 2. Which would be the row number 2. Now from this row number 2 I am going to extract the customer rate which is 1007, right? Even if it is like incorrect, that's not a problem. Let's say if I will write 3, then what should happen? Any guesses? If I will write 3 over here, then I will tell you what should happen. It will throw me the error, right? Because they are trying to access the row which doesn't exist. If I tell someone, go and pick up the row number 3, that person will say, how can I expect how I can retrieve the row number 3 when there are only 2 rows, right? It's like that. Next function that we have is row count. Row count basically gives me the total number of rows that we have in a row set. Using the lookup as function, we are basically getting this row set and storing the rows variable, and we are passing this variable in which we have stored this row set, and it is going to return the number of rows that are there in the row set with the help of the row count function. It is going to count the number of rows in the row set. Let's go and do the quick request. What should be the output now? How many rows we have? The last name is Cook. See, right. The last name is equal to Kumavim on the total set. Next function that we have to take a look at is the lookup rows CS, which means you can look up the value rows. Means we are going to take the entire row. CS means case sensitive. Here what we are going to do while searching, while returning the data, we are going to take the case sensitive data into consideration. Here I will go to the decision chain and then we are returning the reports where last name is Mr. Now each and every character should match, with the case as well. In the last name, the case should be capital, U should be small, case N should be small, A should be small and R should be small. But if you look at this one here, case is small, right? Case is not matching. Only there is one row where entire Kumar word with the case is matching. It will only retrieve this particular row that is carried Kumar. And then we have like whatever it will retrieve, we are going to store this in a row called rows, and then we are going to see the row count function and how many rows it has returned. It has returned 1, and then we are going to print the number of rows that it has written. And then we are going to use the store function to retrieve a particular row from this row set. We are going to retrieve the first row. Basically, there is only one row, that doesn't matter. But still we have to use the store function to retrieve a row from the row set. That is basically returning a row set, and here it is. We are trying to retrieve a row from the row set. And then we have field function to retrieve the value of the field name from a particular row. We want to retrieve the first row from this row that is carried. It is returning 1, Harry. It is returning 1, Harry, because first of all, we are printing the number of rows that was returned by this function. Let's look across the list, and then we are printing the first row of the customer where the condition was not. Let's say the last row was supervised. Next function we have is lookup ordered rows. What does it mean? That we are going to retrieve the rows, but that would again sort it manually. We can display or we can basically print the order. One thing that I want to tell here with the lookup rows function, that up to 2000 reports. If you are able to fetch from this lookup rows function, I think 2500. Yes, I think up to 2500 reports we are only able to retrieve based on the sleep up rows function. But if you want to, let's say we have 3000 rows in the data extension. I want to retrieve all of them. But with the help of this function, you will not be able to do that. You will only be able to retrieve max 2500 reports. But what we can do, we can use this function to build look up ordered rows, and with the help of this, we can retrieve as many as possible. Here we have to mention the first parameter, that would be the name of the data extension. The second parameter would be the number of rows. Now, if you will not like, if you mention the number less than 1, let's say minus 1 plus 0, then before it would be 2000. I think it will be based on the level. Defaulted would be 2000. If you will mention any number like less than 1, then before it would be 2000. And if you mention any number which is greater than 1, let's say 5, then that would be our maximum number. Let's actually mention, I can mention 500. Whatever number that I will mention, it will give me all those reports. For now, let's get 5. It will retrieve maximum 5 reports from this result from the data extension. First of all, we have to give the name of the data extension, and then we have to tell that how many rows that we want to extract. And then we have to mention the customer ID, that how do we want to sort the results. We want to sort the results with the help of the customer ID. And then we have to tell the condition will last name is equals to 2 bar. What will happen? Whatever the result, that it will be retrieved. Last name is equals to 2 bar this, and it is going to sort it with the help of the customer ID. It will be like in the 1003 and 1007 if it is ascending, but we are using this descending DSC. Descending means it will decrease. Decrease means like first in the result it will be 1007 and then it will be 1003. How the entire thing will work? First of all, marketing will go to this extension and will search for this back end and dashboard based on the customer. It will fetch the result and retrieve the result, and after retrieving the result, it will sort it out. Now how it is going to arrange or how it is going to be sorted by the customer? ID is assembled, which means that this report will become the first report in the result, and then this report will become the second report in the result after the sorting. We have got this result where this is my first report and this is my second report, and I'm going to store this result in my variable build rows. Now, from this row set, we are going to retrieve the first row and then the first name from this one. Now you have to tell me what would be the output. Output 2000. We are retrieving the first name. That's correct. Let's look at the result. They're returning Harry. Now we're going to send another function which is similar to this. This descending, ascending is done by, if it is ascending means the other value would have come. Right. If it is ascending, what will happen? That it will arrange the reports in the ascending fashion, that is 1003, 1007. And by default, it will be ascending. If you don't mention descending, then by default, it will be ascending. If you want to make it descending, then you have to do this. Q1 called DS. Next function that we have in our list is loop up ordered row CS. What does it mean? That first of all, we have to provide the name of the data extension and then the maximum number of rows that we want to retrieve. I want to retrieve at 60 rows, and then first of all, I will DSC. Last one will be Kumar. If you can see the syntax wise, it is exactly the same way. There is no difference in syntax. But when we include the CS, it means it will become the case sensitive. Now, whenever we retrieve the data, it will also take the case sensitive into the concentration. In Kumar case should be capital. We have only one report where the condition is met. It will only retrieve this particular report. I mean, there's no point arranging the function when we have only one report. It will return only one row and then row pound derivative. Again, we will get the same output. That is correct. Let's see the results. It is returning one Hari, which means that there's only one report where the condition was met. And then out of these reports, we have got our first table. Let me change this condition a little bit. Here I am using small k. Now what should be the output? We are going to go to the state extension, and then we are seeing the maximum number of rows. and where last row is equals to Kumar. Can you help me spot the row number where last row is equals to Kumar, which with capital K in small case? Can you tell me the row number where last name is equals to Kumar and K should be in small case? Row number 2 Akhtal is the first name in that. Row number 2, it will be eligible and that will be retrieved. And after that, we are going to extract the first name using all these functions. What should be the output? Output should be Akhtal. Let's see. Output is Akhtal. It is generally used for the personalization as well. Let's say we are fetching the data or we are getting this data. Here we have the customer ID, and what we need to do is we have stored the personal information in another data extension. And when we want to send the email, we want to read the customer the first name or something like that. There could be many examples that we will talk about. Next function that we have is the data extension program. It will basically give me the count of rows or the number of rows that we have in the data extension. How many rows we have in the data extension? It will return 7 as the number of rows in the data extension. Can I help? It will return 7. Next function that we have is cleaning. This is a very interesting function and it has few specific use cases. Let's say you must have seen that when you buy a gift coupon from Amazon, what happens is that we have to pay the amount. And after paying the amount, they will send us the email message in which the coupon code will be written over there. That this is your coupon code that you can use, and let's say 4,000 rupees. We have purchased this gift coupon code. Gift coupon, and then against that they are giving the coupon code, and then I can give this to somebody. How does this happen is if we want to achieve the same functionality in marketing channel. Let's say we have the state extension or the coupon code DB. And in the state extension, we have stored couple of coupons. What we want to do that we have to use one value to tell us that whether it is claimed or not. We have all these coupons and we can say what is the value for this code. We have to make sure that if it is not claimed, then only we are going to retrieve this coupon code. Otherwise, it will retrieve a claimed coupon. Then it will not be. It cannot be used by another customer. We have to have one field wherein we are going to store the coupon codes. In another field, we have to restore the status whether it is claimed or not. And also we want to have the emulators of the customer that we know who has been assigned, who has not given this particular coupon code. And whenever it is claimed, we are going to do that. Let me do this thing. Just to put it in the proof, delete all these email addresses. Because whenever somebody will claim, then only we are going to populate the email address when the address person will claim this particular coupon. Let me go to the contact field. What we need to do? First of all, we have to have a data extension in which we have all these coupon codes. And the claim value should be false. Now, whenever we are giving this coupon code to somebody in the email message, we have to do two things. The first thing that we have to do is that we have to flip the status of this claimed field to the true, that we know that it is already claimed and next time we do not retrieve the same value. And the second time we need to do that, we need to populate these values that we know that which subscriber or which customer got this coupon and when it was claimed. Let's go to the data extensions and let me delete these addresses. Let's go to the data extensions. And I'm going to change this value to force it to do that. We have not to clear the end. I'm going to see the changes. Now, this is the current condition where none of the coupon code is claimed. And since these are not claimed, we do not have the values for the email and the claim bits. But who claimed it and when it was claimed? Now let's go back to the email message. We have this function called claim node. As we understood that whenever the coupon will be claimed, we have to do two things. One is that we have to change the value and then we have to basically populate the email message with the claim bit value. What we are doing over here is that we are telling the system that we go to the data extension for TV. And then you know it has to. Basically, automatically it will only find these defaults or you know the data is claimed is equals to false. If you want to use this function claim role, then we have to have a one field, a text field. And then we also have to have a one field where data type is supposed to be in which we are storing the status of the coupon. These are the prerequisites if you want to use this function for claim. How it works is that it will go to the data extension for coupon for TV. After going here, it will see only those reports with the same data as it was to false. It will find, let's say this one, the first one, and then it will basically retrieve the entire row. Claim means it will retrieve the entire row. It means this entire row. After retrieving the entire row, what we are going to do? We are going to update some values. The claim date will be basically the current date. Whatever the current date and time of the server, it will populate the value with this field and the email address value that we are providing. Right now, I'm hard coding this. But what you can do, you can retrieve the data from the data extension and then open the populate over here. And then once you have retrieved the entire row using the field function, we are going to retrieve the particular field. Let's say coupon code. This coupon code field we are going to retrieve using the field function. Let's see the output that you can understand. I'm going to click on this premium test. And what it will do that it is going to retrieve with the coupon code. We can say that the site has to know the ratings from Amazon. And this is the coupon code that you can use for your next purchase or whatever it is. And now when we go to the data extension back, let me refresh this data extension. And then we will see that the status has been changed to true and the email address values this, and then this is the claim date. Now if I run this function again, what will happen? That the same customer will not get the coupon twice. Let's say if I again run this, then it will retrieve the same coupon code that was already cleared by the same customer. For the same customer, it is going to retrieve the same coupon code. But let's say we have a different customer. We have different list of customers to whom we need to distribute all these coupons. I need to change the email address value over here. Let's say my email to address mail come. Now, since the customer is changed, it will retrieve another coupon code, basically a fresh coupon code from the data extension. And now let me refresh this screen. But in case let's say we do not have any claimed value, we do not have any coupon where claim is equal to false. Then what it is going to do? Then it is going to not retrieve any. Basically, it will not retrieve any coupon code. That is something we will see to know that in case we do not have any coupon, then what we can do? And we are going to use another function called claim token. Until then, do practice. And if you are very new to the programming or the BMS language, then it is natural that you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed. Do practice and let me know if you have any issues. If nobody has any other values for now, we can wrap this session. And then tomorrow we will understand the. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.